Hello, my name is Scott Shane. I am an investigative astrologer. I practice a powerful form of astrology called archetypal astrology, and I also do a form of God-focused astrology for your highest good, your highest potential. And I am also a bridge, mystic bridge. In 1996, when my Holy Spirit was anointed on the other side of the veil, they gave me the title Bridge. And they didn't say what that was or how to be a bridge, but apparently I bridge some heaven and earth kind of stuff, and that's what I'm doing today. I'm introducing a new astrological discovery, and I call it the Apostles' Key. And I'm proposing that this is the tool, the primary key that the three kings would have been using to find Jesus. And I call it the Apostles' Key because you can imagine as these three guys were moving along, getting closer and closer and closer to Jesus, there would have been someone else perhaps giving birth. They haven't found Jesus yet, and they would have maybe had some of these lineups in their chart, and it would take the rest of the planets to find Jesus. So, but now notice I call it the primary key. It's because I found others, and also this one can be used a few different ways. That's for a different video. But it's a new form of astrology I call astro-archeology, because we're digging up things from the past using all sorts of different tools. But this key is the coolest, most awesome key in the hearts and minds of the three kings, the ancient magi, because it locates history's most famous heroes and most talked about people from the past. So astrology, this is a little piece of astrology, is what gave meaning to the work of these guys. It's the how and why would they be here following anything. They're following the planets, the stars, the magi. That's what they did. And the final part is the astronomy work. I can demonstrate this key out in the field. That's another video if you'll see it later. And now historically, astrologers have been trying to figure out how these guys did this, and so we could do it again. I think you'll probably agree by the end of some of these videos that we can do that now, and I can demonstrate it. So first, it's important though to do some background work, to look at other people's astrology charts they're putting forth to say, maybe this is Jesus, maybe that's Jesus. A lot of us do it, and it's worth looking at to get a comparison and see why I'm out here doing this. This is why am I risking my neck? It'll give you some comparison. So why don't we just pause and do that right now? Okay, so I encourage you to look at other people's work trying to find Jesus. Some of it's going to make sense, and a lot of people have put effort in trying to figure out how the three kings did what they're doing. So you can go to Google. You can you can just go to astrowiki.com by AstroDynast. This is a huge, it's supposed to be the best, largest research page. You can also find it on astro.com right here. And if you type in Jesus of Nazareth, that's how I found this. Let's do that now. I found this PDF.
see Astro Data Bank, and this is Jesus of Nazareth. But look at all these files. Just look at everybody's. This is all put on one PDF and it's worth looking at because you'll get a comparison to the Apostles' Key. And this is a fun one. Jesus of Nazareth, Christmas Day, Midnight Mass. We all try this one. It's kind of fun. But most of the time you're going to see Neptune is a pattern. People are looking for the healer. Let's Midnight Mass. There's a sun way at the bottom. And the sun is in Capricorn. He's a Capricorn. So he may be a businessman. This is the high point of his career. He's a businessman he's in real estate or maybe government. It's conjunct Mercury, so he's kind of a smart guy. But let's go look at some of his notoriety. His landscape is Libra. It's might be a very fair guy dealing in, that could be a Democrat, an attorney. Here is Jupiter in the first house, so he's a big dude. Yeah, he's maybe jolly and fun to be around. But here's Pluto. And for Pluto, that's conjunct the ascendant. So here we have something that's he's dealing in matters of life and death somehow. But that would also describe him physically. He would be, probably the darkest skin, in his family. His eyes might be a little more something than the rest of his family. So go ahead and look at all these other charts, at least this one, because they're all in one place, and you'll get an idea how good the Apostles' Key really is. And bless their heart, I think you'll agree the Apostles' Key is something the three kings would have been looking for. And when you look at a lot of these here, I don't know how they would find this dude based on their charts. There's nothing special that says, hey, this is this hour, this time, this day, this place, this is where he's going to be born. None of them say that, but the Apostles' Key does. Okay, so let's go back to that. Thank you for paying attention. Correction. I don't know if you caught me, but I was referring to this chart. Jesus of Nazareth, December 25th, Midnight Mass. And I was referring to his sun in Capricorn. Here, come on, go away. And I said the high point of his career. But see the little north node right there? And my pointer's not working right. That's the high point of his life. I said it wrong. But while we're here, we may as well just go up to the 10th house and notice there's Cancer in the 10th house. So at the height of his career, he's probably just a caring guy, not like a superhero or anything. And oddly enough, his north node being down here would put his south node up here, and that would imply that he's oddly enough not supposed to be focusing on being a nice guy. He's supposed to be focusing on being this business guy down here. Right? So if I make a mistake, it's forgive me, but you can call me out. I want to fix it. All right. Let's move on. Okay, so the main takeaways I want you to get from looking at all these other people's work and thank them. They did good work. People have been doing this for a long time. They work real hard. But one takeaway that I want you to have is they're not using the 1st and the 10th house as much. So notice that, and notice the lack of what I'm going to reveal now are squares. There's supposed to be a square here. My lines aren't showing that. It was printed before. Anyway, I forgot to put it. But these are all square angles from the sun to Neptune to the moon to Scorpio rising. So that means psychic, supernatural energy. They don't work too well in real life, but they work really well on the supernatural. And you don't see a lot of use of that. Another takeaway from other people's work is, how do you find them? When I look at some of those charts, it looks kind of complicated. These with the Apostles' Key, I'm going to demonstrate how easy it is to find these people. And what else? So it looks like they were using, the software to find um, their results. I didn't use the software. I used the Bible. I used Christian traditions. I used Christian legacy in and outside of church, things that aren't necessarily in the Bible. Like a lot of us are looking for Neptune, the fish. Um, I used old Christian movies, old Greek movies, Constantine movies. Piece by piece, it all started coming together. And so let me see. Let's begin with the most easily digested information right here. Um, this is what I call our 4-point solar maximum power position. Uh, it's just a name I made up. It could use a new name, something more memorable. But basically, these 4 parts, we've got our sun at the top of the chart. Just like our story from the 3 Kings, we have the sun in Leo, and we have sun in 10th house. We have it on the cusp of the 10th house, and it's in the medium coli region. And so let's just explain some of that right now. So the sun in astrology, a lot of astrologers, it's common. We say it's your cognitive energy, it's your masculine, it's your creative, it's your sense of power, it's how you imprint your personality onto the world. But to the ancients, and to me, I do God-focused astrology. To the ancients, this was the energy of God. And some astrologers are dancing around that still. This is the archetype for the energy of God as it wants to flow through your life. And that's how I trace it in my God-focused astrology. And for you, for your highest good, for your highest potential and potential miracles in your life. So some astrologers are coining this quantum physics, a way of that God comes through your life through quantum physics. I think they're onto something there. And so, but we're not. Let me see. Leo. It's also in Leo. Leo is the organic home of the sun, so we say it has the maximum power to this God energy that we're talking about now. And but also we have a lion king. We have Leo the lion. We have Narnia. Narnia. I didn't understand a lot of Christians when the movie Narnia came out, why they thought that was Jesus. Why they thought it was Jesus. I was baptized Catholic, raised Lutheran, confirmed Lutheran. It didn't make sense to me, but it did to them. And this is one of those examples of Christian traditions and legacy and understanding. So now we have a Narnia king. We have a king, a sun, God energy as a king. But this is also in the 10th house, and people with sun in the 10th house tend to leave their mark on the world somehow. This is a career. Sometimes it's a public life. It's sort of what you grow up into. And so if you have a planet, or in this case the sun there, it's more active, it's stronger. You can see. And so here we have someone who's going to leave their mark on the world. Mark Zuckerberg had sun in the first house. Napoleon Bonaparte had sun in the first house. They left their mark on the world. But not only in the 10th house, we're going to have the sun on the cusp, right? That line right there. So this is another solar maximum power placement, not very Christian or astro-archeological in that sense, but it's still a maximum. But it is going to place the sun in the center of the medium coli. And now notice I have MH there. That's a little bit of astro-archeology. Why is uh, MH? Well, the medium Coli has a nickname, Midheaven, and nobody I know can figure out why that's called Midheaven, but it does have an interesting quality, because sometimes planets up here, if they're up here, this area can imbue just a little bit of supernatural qualities. Uh, if, for example, if you have Mercury and Cancer over here somewhere, Mercury is not particularly supernatural, uh, but Cancer is soft and empathic. Your thoughts can become um, empathic very quickly if that's up here in the midheaven region. So, but this is right smack in the middle of our midheaven region. So, does these things start to sound like somebody these guys would have been looking for? We have our strong God energy in maximum Leo. A king's going to leave his mark on the world, and he's popping straight out of the middle of heaven somehow. And all this energy is coming down into the world and through his body and in his life. Um, so I'm going to put forward that in the ancient world, this is half of the requirement for these kind of people, the ancient magi, to name any incarnation things like Sun King, Sun God, Son of the Sun is another one. Son of the Sun to me sounds a little astrological. Maybe that's left over from something. It's a clue, I think. What about the only Son of God? The Son of God, the only. If you were Constantine cleaning up some sort of what you thought was a mess, and you wanted to have an only Son of God, could this be? There's nothing else you can add to this to maximize the Son archetype of God. You can add stuff to it. You be changing it laterally somehow. But why don't we? Does that send shivers up your spine? I think it's really cool. But why don't we end right there, because the videos are getting long, and we'll pick up the lower half in just a minute. And so, be right back.